领结婚证真的能领到钱了，看看崭新的100元大钞。
为了让大家结婚，现在各地都开始出奇招了。
To encourage people to get married, more and more places are adopting unconventional measures. For example, Shaanxi recently introduced a policy that offers 1,500 yuan in cash for women under the age of 35 who get married. This feels like buying a house worth 2 million yuan and getting a 1,500 yuan discount coupon. It's really puzzling. Do I really care about that 1,500 yuan? Shouldn't I be more concerned with the 2 million yuan? Although this policy may not attract many people to claim the money, its purpose is clear: the government is encouraging marriage. After all, the issue of low marriage rates has troubled us for a long time. Since 2013, China's marriage rate has been declining continuously for over 10 years, which has made the government anxious. Recently, the government released some data showing that by December 2024, only over 4 million people had registered for marriage, while nearly 2 million people had divorced. So why are fewer people getting married? First, from the gender ratio perspective, there are about 20 million more males than females among the post-90s and post-00s generations. Some might argue that age isn't an issue, and men can look for older women from the 80s generation online, or wait for girls born after 2010 to grow up. But the problem is, the number of men in each age group exceeds that of women, so no matter what, many men will still find it hard to find a partner. Another issue is urbanization and population mobility. In the past, when you pursued a girl, your competitors might just be the guy from the neighboring village. But now, your competition can be men from all over the country. Today, many people leave their hometowns to work or study, and some even move to big cities. While in big cities, there is a higher number of men than women, men in big cities are not afraid, as they can more easily attract women from other areas. However, local men in small cities face more difficulties in finding partners. As for women, although it seems easier to get married in big cities, many women simply don't have time for a relationship because of the heavy work pressure, which causes the average age of marriage to keep getting delayed. Let's talk about the economic pressure. Marriage requires a certain financial foundation. Although young people today may not necessarily need to buy a house, renting is still a significant cost. Moreover, apart from daily expenses, savings are important, not to mention the future costs of raising children. Statistics show that raising a child to the age of 17 costs at least 500,000 yuan. In addition, caring for both sides of the parents adds up to even more. These seemingly trivial expenses can become burdensome. For today's young people, just avoiding being financially dependent on their parents is already a great achievement. There's hardly any extra money to consider marriage. Therefore, the government's 1,500 yuan cash subsidy cannot solve the core problem. The real reason why young people are not getting married is the heavy work pressure and lack of confidence in future financial prospects. Many prefer to first improve their own living standards before thinking about marriage. After all, if they meet the right person, who wouldn't want to get married?
国家喊你来结婚了哈，大家都知道了吧？
In order to encourage marriage, it seems the government is really going all out. Have you all heard? In the future, marriage registration will no longer require a household register. You'll only need your ID card to register for marriage nationwide. Such a major move, what's the reason behind it? Actually, it's closely related to everyone's financial situation. If you think about it, the government policies have also made divorce more difficult. The simple divorce process of the past is no longer as easy as just saying, I want a divorce. In simple terms, it's easy to get married, but difficult to divorce. The government's policy has adopted a wide entry, strict exit strategy. Why would the government lower the threshold for marriage in the current economic environment? The underlying reason is worth pondering. The number of marriages in 2024 has decreased by nearly 500,000 compared to 2023. Meanwhile, the number of divorces has reached an all-time high. The decline in marriages directly leads to a continuous decrease in the number of newborns. However, even after getting married, many people are unwilling to have children. In 2024, the number of newborns nationwide dropped to 9.02 million, a 50% reduction from the peak of 17.85 million in 2016. The reason is simple: young people are generally unwilling to marry and unwilling to have children. As this trend spreads, more and more people are realizing that once you marry, it means entering workhorse mode, working hard to earn money, bearing mortgages, car loans, and even passing this burden down through generations. This lifestyle has become unbearable for many. After all, those without money are too scared to marry, and those with money don't need to marry. A professor at Fudan University once said that 1/3 of people in the world are not suited for marriage. The impact of not marrying is actually profound, especially on the entire industrial chain. Marriage involves many sectors, including housing, cars, wedding planning, hotels, jewelry, home decoration, maternity, and education. The decline in marriage numbers will increasingly impact these industries. It's predictable that the fewer marriages there are, the greater the impact on these industries. Now, as the economy in various fields is going through a winter, more and more people are seeking stability, lowering their expectations, and consuming less. Today's young people are not only reassessing the value and risks of marriage, but more people are also considering the high cost of marriage. Many people, when getting married, are actually gambling away their parents' entire life savings. The decline in marriage rates and the reduction in the number of newborns will have a direct impact on the retirement issues of our generation decades from now. The reduction in the working population will inevitably affect the operation of the pension system. Our country's pension system still relies on a large number of young workers to support the livelihoods of retirees. However, with the gradual decrease in population and the shortage of labor, the pressure on pension payments will become increasingly large. By the time the post-80s generation retires, whether or not we can receive our pensions, and how much we can receive, is highly uncertain. Ultimately, the core issue is whether people are willing to give up their current pension security, or whether they are willing to encourage today's young people to marry actively, to accumulate labor for the future society. From a personal perspective, if we don't make changes, children born after 2010 will face even more severe pressures, harder than our generation.
妹子们，赶紧结婚去，有1500块钱的奖励。
Ladies, hurry up and get married. You can receive a 1,500 yuan cash reward. In Luoyang City, Shaanxi Province, the local government has introduced a marriage encouragement policy. Starting from 2025, couples who register their marriage for the first time, with the female partner being 35 years old or younger, will receive a 1,500 yuan reward. This reward can be claimed at the marriage registration window by both partners, meaning that the cash reward will be directly issued when they receive their marriage certificate. Although the amount is not large, this policy reflects the local government's effort to encourage marriage and childbearing. A couple receives 1,500 yuan as a reward for getting married. Although the amount is small, the sincerity is truly apparent. Imagine this. If 10,000 couples get married in 1 year, the government would need to spend 15 million yuan in total. This is no small amount. However, some netizens have raised doubts. Compared to the significant expenses of buying a house, a car, and raising children, the 1,500 yuan reward seems negligible. Who would get married just for this small amount of money? Additionally, some netizens worry that people might quickly marry just to claim the 1,500 yuan and then divorce immediately. In my opinion, it's unlikely that people will rush into a flash marriage and divorce just for 1,500 yuan. Those who truly want to get married will not change their decision because of the reward, and those who are not financially or emotionally ready for marriage will not suddenly enter into it just for a small incentive. One more point to note is, why is only the female partner under 35 eligible for the reward, while the male partner does not receive a cash reward for marriage? If the goal is to encourage marriage, why not extend the reward to men as well? From this perspective, while the 1,500 yuan reward does show some sincerity, it also seems somewhat half-hearted. It's almost like putting a Band-Aid on the Titanic after it's hit an iceberg. There's an attempt to fix the problem, but it doesn't really address the core issue. It's like a company offering a 5 yuan discount on a Rolls-Royce to boost sales. Though there's some sincerity, the actual effect may be minimal. What worries me the most is that after the policy is implemented for a while, we might start hearing about delays in processing or issues with the approval process. What will you do then? I don't think you can just go to the neighboring window to handle your divorce immediately.
听了我们山西结婚的彩礼，估计你连媳妇儿都不敢娶了。
When you hear about the bridal price in our Shaanxi, you might think that you wouldn't dare to get married at all. Today, I want to calculate how much a wedding costs in Shaanxi. Let me use my own personal experience as an example. My husband and I met through a free relationship. After dating for 3 years, we finally decided to tie the knot. Both of us come from rural families. My husband is the second child in his family, and his parents have to raise 2 sons. The cost of the wedding was indeed a significant burden for them. So, when we decided to get married, my husband really didn't have much of a bridal price to offer. At that time, my mother strongly opposed the idea, saying that the bridal price couldn't be low. Whatever others asked for, we had to ask for the same amount. But my father said something fair. As long as our daughter is willing and won't suffer after marriage, the bridal price shouldn't be overemphasized. As parents, no one has it easy, so we should put ourselves in their shoes. So, can you guess how much bridal price I asked for? Actually, at that time, the bridal price in Shaanxi was quite high. There were amounts like 128,000 yuan, 138,000 yuan, and even 148,000 yuan. To this day, I still don't understand why in some places, the bridal price can be so ridiculously high. Moreover, apart from the bridal price, we also needed a house and a car. In our small county, the price of real estate is about 5,000 yuan per square meter. Based on a normal apartment layout, buying a house would cost around 700,000 yuan. The car would cost at least 100,000 yuan. Renovating the house would cost about 70,000 yuan, and on top of the 130,000 yuan bridal price, all these together would add up to nearly 1 million yuan. In addition, there were the wedding banquet expenses, buying gold jewelry, rings, etc., which cost a few thousand yuan. And there were other miscellaneous expenses, such as the noise fee, that's common in our hometown. The standard for this fee is usually either 6,800 yuan or 8,800 yuan. After adding all these miscellaneous costs, I roughly estimate that the total cost of the wedding came to around 1.06 million yuan. For my husband, coming from a rural family with 2 sons, especially under economic conditions that were not very affluent, raising these funds was extremely difficult. If the other family could come up with this amount of money, that would be fine. But for a family like my husband's, who didn't have enough savings, such a demand for the bridal price was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So I really think that marriage shouldn't be seen as a transaction, nor should it be measured by how much you pay me, then I'll marry you, or if you don't pay a bridal price, I won't marry. Marriage is the union of 2 families and a reflection of the deep feelings between 2 people. It should be considered from multiple perspectives. My husband and I have been together for many years, and we have a solid emotional foundation. He's a good person. We've also acquired the material things like a house and a car. I think that's already enough. Moreover, my husband's parents also contributed a lot to our wedding and made many efforts. I feel that the bridal price shouldn't become a burden between us. What matters most is that the 2 of us have a strong bond and are ready to spend the rest of our lives together. The most important thing in marriage is mutual understanding and cooperation. Only when 2 people work together can life be happy. Many women insist on a high bridal price, perhaps because they worry about the marriage breaking down, and the bridal price becomes a guarantee. But I want to say that who gets married with the intention of divorcing? No one gets married with divorce in mind. Everyone hopes for a happy, long-lasting marriage, living a peaceful and joyful life. Therefore, I firmly believe that the happiness of a marriage has no direct connection with the amount of the bridal price. What truly determines whether a marriage is happy is whether the couple's relationship is strong and whether their values align. As long as the 2 people have a deep bond, understanding, and respect for each other, they can overcome any difficulty together. Finally, I'll mention that I ultimately only asked my husband for a bridal price of 18,000 yuan. Do you think that's high?
Is it really just because of the 1,500 yuan that we don't get married? What we truly lack is the fear of the uncertainty in married life. On January 1st, 2025, the government of Luoyang City, Shaanxi Province, announced a new policy offering a 1,500 yuan reward for couples registering their marriage. This policy sparked widespread discussion, and many people are asking, is the reason young people are unwilling to get married really because they lack that 1,500 yuan? The answer is clearly no. What we lack is the fear of the uncertainty in married life. This fear comes from multiple aspects. Firstly, many people are unsure whether they have truly met the one. Secondly, they are uncertain whether life with another person is truly happier than living alone. Lastly, they are unsure whether marriage is truly worthwhile. It's not just an economic calculation. It's also a matter of time, emotions, and even energy. Imagine, those who choose to step into the marriage hall naturally hope that their future life will be better. But in today's materially abundant era, people's definition of a good life is no longer as simple as just living together. For some young people who don't have financial pressures, even without marriage, their lives can still be fulfilling and fun. They can take spontaneous trips at any time or spend weekends indulging in games or binge-watching dramas. For the majority of young people working hard in society, the reality is that they don't have the energy to think about marriage. Picture this: a recent college graduate who has just found a job, working under high pressure, where overtime is taken for granted and they don't even have the right to refuse it. In this environment, the only thing they hear every day is the helpless. If you don't do it, there are plenty of people who will. Over time, how could they possibly believe that building a family with another partner who is also exhausted from the same struggles will make their lives better? For them, work has already invaded their lives, leaving them with little time for themselves. Where would they find the energy to maintain a marriage that requires emotional and mental investment? Ultimately, young people are unwilling to get married because the pressures of reality are leading them to actively or passively lower their desires and choose to lie flat. To truly address the issue of young people not wanting to get married, we first need to tackle the problem of low desire. We need to build a friendly society where young people once again feel hopeful about life and confident about their futures. Only then will they naturally choose to share that joy with the right partner. Do you agree with my view? Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.